I don't know why, but this final day seems to be passing so slowly. At this moment, the incense pavilion is on high alert because everyone knows that tomorrow's demon annihilation ceremony held by the Xuanling royal family will determine life and death. If the incense pavilion wins, all will be well. But if they lose, not only will the incense pavilion be in trouble, but the entire mystic three heavens could be mercilessly purged by the Xuanling royal family. What are you doing? Feeling anxious, Xiaoyin stood alone in the 5 bamboo residence, lost in thought, when EngSubs walked in, contemplating something. Nothing much, just recalled some sad memories, Xiaoyin replied with a welcoming smile as EngSubs arrived. Oh, it's rare to see our incense pavilion hero looking so worried, EngSubs teased. Enough, stop mocking me. What brings you here? Xiaoyin sensed that EngSubs' smile hid some unspoken trouble and asked, I'm here for something, but... EngSubs looked around cautiously before speaking. Oh. Xiaoyin became quite curious. You know, I'm not from your Xuanling continent, EngSubs said after a pause. Yeah, so? Xiaoyin asked, having anticipated this. Forget it. If you ever have the chance, come to the Doyun continent. I can help you there, EngSubs offered. Doyun continent, huh? It's the largest continent among the 4 continents of the Dodi continent. If I get the opportunity, I'll definitely visit, Xiaoyin replied with a smile. In that case, I won't disturb you any further, EngSubs said and took her leave. This girl is quite mysterious, Xiaoyin thought. Though her strength seems average, there's something unsettling about her aura, remarked the devourer of souls within Xiaoyin after EngSubs departed. She probably has something she's not willing to disclose, Xiaoyin speculated as he watched EngSubs' retreating figure. When this is all over, let's first head to the ghost realm. Wait until you reach Doxian status before venturing to the Doyun continent. Otherwise, with your current power, you'd only be courting death in a place full of hidden dangers. Besides, her background might be significant. We may need her support in the future, the devourer of souls advised. Taking in the advice, Xiaoyin started walking towards Bamboo Ember's residence. Princess, why didn't you mention anything? Upon returning to her room, a mysterious figure appeared, questioning EngSubs. Forget it. We'll discuss Xiaoyin's matters later. For now, we should focus on dealing with the issues on the Xuanling continent, EngSubs answered calmly. Suddenly, in the previously tranquil domain of Scorched Heavens, some unexpected guests appeared. It was Shifu from the Medusa clan, a half-step Dosian. With a snake-shaped staff in hand, Shifu moved through the void towards Bamboo Ember's wood house, unaware that Xiaoyin was following closely behind, eavesdropping on their conversation. Elder Serpent, what brings you here in such a hurry? Bamboo Ember, recognizing the long-standing acquaintance, greeted Shifu with a smile. Elder Bamboo, there's bad news. Shifu entered the wooden house, his voice weary, without even setting up a barrier. Bad news? Is it about Kailin? Xiaoyin, standing outside the wooden house, understood intuitively but did not enter. What bad news? Bamboo Ember asked, wiping away his smile upon noticing Shifu's expression, something he rarely showed. Is there a disciple in your incense pavilion named Yingying with the power of the sacred flame? Shifu inquired. Yes. Bamboo Ember's expression turned grave upon hearing this. Yingying wasn't supposed to be with Xiaoyin. So how could it be now? A sense of foreboding washed over him. She's been captured, Shifu said with a pale complexion. What? Bamboo Ember's composed demeanor shattered, replaced by a heavy tone. Yingying, like Yin Qi, was a sacred flame reincarnated into human form. If captured and the source of the sacred flame was damaged, it could threaten her life. By the Xuanling king, Shifu added after a brief pause. The silence inside the wooden house was oppressive. No one expected this. How could it be? Outside the door, Xiaoyin felt a chilling sensation envelop him, accompanied by deep remorse. When he first visited the Medusa clan's territory, he distanced himself from Yingying by revealing that Kailin was his wife. She left in anger, and since then, her whereabouts were unknown. Now, Shifu's revelation that Yingying was captured by the Xuanling king filled Xiaoyin with profound guilt. Yinchi, and now Yingying, both in the hands of the Xuanling king. However, the Xuanling royal family has colluded with the extraterritorial evil clan. Even the emergence of the sacred flame couldn't consume them. Why are they collecting the sacred flame in this manner? Elder Zhua was shocked for a moment, then regained his composure and began to contemplate solutions. Even if both of them are personified forms of the sacred flame, if things were that straightforward, I wouldn't have come to you for help. Our Medusa clan's patrol has discovered traces of the Queen and Yingying at the edge of the desolate Death Desert. If I'm not mistaken, the Xuanling king has likely captured both the Queen and Yingying. The reasons for the Xuanling king's actions might be linked to an ancient text I once read. The blood power of the tin-colored heaven-swallowing python is truly frigid, making it the perfect choice for devouring the sacred flame. Its blood can significantly diminish the power of the sacred flame. In the next moment, a shocking piece of information spread from Shifu's lips. That Xuanling king, his ambition is vast. Is he actually planning to use Medusa's power to consume two sacred flames? Listening to Shifu, Elder Zhua was filled with alarm. Regardless of what the Xuanling king intends, rescuing the queen and the two sacred flames is paramount, Shifu declared. Tomorrow is the demon annihilation ceremony. It might already be too late, Elder Zhua noted, as if sensing something amiss. Crunch. Before Elder Zhua and Shifu could continue their conversation, a sudden noise came from outside the door. Kailin, has she been captured too? Xiaoyin stood there, looking bewildered and at a loss. Xiaoyin? Upon seeing Xiaoyin, Shifu knew things had turned dire. Shifu, being experienced, naturally knew Xiaoyin was the husband of their Medusa queen and had deep ties with Yingying. With both captured, Xiaoyin would be the first. Senior Shifu, is what you say true? Xiaoyin asked in a daze, the blaze of anger in his heart already uncontainable. Xiaoyin, we'll handle this. Don't blame yourself too much. Elder Zhua tried to reassure him, knowing excessive explanation would be futile at this point. Kailin is my wife, and Yingying is my companion. Tomorrow, I will ascend Xuanling Mountain. Even if it costs me my last shred of soul, I must make the Xuanling king pay the price. Xiaoyin left these words full of venom before vanishing, leaving Elder Zhua and Shifu behind. Sigh, that young man. Elder Zhua and Shifu exchanged a pained glance. Let's head back. Tomorrow will be the showdown, Elder Zhua remarked, turning to handle other matters. Beneath the calm surface, a battle of epic proportions was about to erupt. The next day, as sunlight bathed the earth, a new day began in earnest. Today was the day the Xuanling royal family invited the major super sect leaders of the mystic three heavens to Xuanling Mountain to exterminate the extraterritorial evil clan. Many powerful figures harbored suspicions, unsure if this gathering was a feast or a catastrophe. Within the incense pavilion, a vast army was meticulously lined up. Every person bore a solemn expression, knowing the danger of their mission. The army consisted not only of disciples from the incense pavilion but also elders and some formidable individuals, alongside the elites from the Poison Sect, Myriad Flowers Pavilion, and the Medusa clan, a true legion of might. This time, I'll lead while Scorched Heaven assists in the shadows. Myriad Flowers and Medusa will support us. Failure is not an option, proclaimed the Poison Sect leader at the forefront of the troops. The absence of Scorched Heaven had somewhat dampened the disciples' morale, but the mention of him aiding secretly reassured them greatly. No outsiders may enter Xuanling Mountain. The coalition will stay outside until my command. As for the higher-ups, let's first see what tricks the Xuanling king is playing inside Xuanling Mountain. Understood? Asked the Poison Sect leader assertively. Understood. Understood. Understood, echoed the coalition in unison. Since we're prepared, let's move, the Poison Sect leader directed with satisfaction before heading towards Xuanling Mountain, within the Xuanling Royal Palace. How are the preparations? The Xuanling king queried, glancing at Wen Zi beside him. Everything is ready, my king, Wen Zi replied with a smile, knowing that if their plan succeeded, he'd become second only to the king. Let's go. Time to greet our guests. The Xuanling king grinned, a sinister smile brimming with malice. Meanwhile, The leaders of various major sects were gradually making their way to Xuanling Mountain. However, of the originally planned 8-sect Demon Annihilation Alliance, only 4 sects and the Medusa clan remained. Since ancient times, Xuanling Mountain has been the sacred site for the coronation and worship of Xuanling royalty. Major events for the Xuanling royal family are held here. At the base of Xuanling Mountain are hundreds of steps, and at the summit stands an enormous black altar. On this day, soldiers and elites of the Xuanling royal family stationed from the base to the peak of Xuanling Mountain, ensuring that any unwelcome intruder would face dire consequences. The Xuanling royal family truly knows how to put on a grand display, remarked Yingying as groups of people slowly appeared at the mountain's foot. Something feels off about the strength emanating from these people, commented the poison sect's leader, glancing at the many guards lining the steps. I'm curious about the Xuanling king's plans, mused Shifu before proceeding towards the mountain. The group, Shifu from the Medusa clan, the leader of the Myriad Flowers Pavilion, the poison sect's leader, and Yingying from the Incense Pavilion, made their way to the summit. Interestingly, even the Medusa clan received an invitation from the Xuanling king. Finally, we've arrived, one of them noted as they reached the summit, drawn in by the grand spectacle. At the summit was a massive altar shaped like a 2, with the center raised and sides flat. The Dragon Devourer Legion's 9 members stood guard here. At the very core was a tall black curtain, concealing something. Welcome, Incense Pavilion, Myriad Flowers Pavilion, Poison Sect, and Medusa clan, invited Wenzi with a smile. Yingying and company took their seats around the altar. Look at this setup. The Xuanling king really has clout. He must have invited nearly all of Mystic 3 Heaven's top leaders for the Demon Annihilation ceremony, Yingying remarked, settling into his seat. The Xuanling king seems ambitious, and this event likely has larger motives than merely annihilating demons, speculated the poison sect leader, her gaze lingering on the raised center of the altar. The Demon Annihilation ceremony is no trifling matter. Combined strength is required to completely eradicate the extraterritorial evil clan. Remain patient as we gather the strong to vanquish the evil, proclaimed the Xuanling king, clad in gold, as he ascended and addressed the powerful attendees. The Xuanling king is like a deity among us, muttered the head of a small sect, awestruck that he could capture the extraterritorial evil clan. With the Xuanling king leading us, the Xuanling continent is destined for prosperity. Yet, even at perfect 1-star Docian level, I can't gauge the strength of the Xuanling king, the poison sect leader whispered, taken aback. Let's wait and see, Yingying said, quietening down. As the 4 grew silent, one familiar figure after another appeared at the altar. The Pill Valley has arrived. Someone noted as a grand elder emerged onto the scene. Pill Demon Yi Qingtian, Yingying glanced briefly, unsurprised by the sect's desertion, given the downfall of Solomon and the Soul Clan. These sects would do anything for survival. The ancient Desolation Palace people too, and Puppet Manners. The 10,000 Sword sects. As people from Pill Valley arrived, other key figures influential in Mystic 3 Heavens gathered at the altar. Among these powerhouses, even the weakest was half-step Docian, predominantly comprised of 1-star Docians. The Xuanling Mountain truly gathered an assembly of Docians. It's about time to commence, the Xuanling king uttered, a smirk playing on his lips as he surveyed the formidable assembly. With so many Docian experts, the Xuanling king was confident in forming a truly formidable army. Beneath the altar's raised platform, ominous sounds began to echo. Be cautious. Once we vanquish the extraterritorial evil clan, Mystic 3 Heavens will belong to our Xuanling royal family, whispered Elder Zhua as he paced back and forth. The area was steeped in mystery, darkness obscuring sight. Only the faint images of 3 massive stone pillars became visible. Now that everyone is here, should we begin the Demon Annihilation ceremony? As more powerful individuals streamed into Xuanling Mountain, Pill Demon Yi Qingtian stood up and addressed the Xuanling king in the center of the altar. The Xuanling king, Wenzi, and the 9 members of the Dragon Devourer Legion stood upon the elevated altar. Don't rush, brother Pill Demon, the Xuanling king responded with a slight smile. Since everyone has gathered, there's no need to keep any secrets. I, the Xuanling king, declare, The demon annihilation ceremony officially begins. With no further delay, the Xuanling king floated into the air, announcing to the formidable individuals below the altar, "It's finally starting. The extraterritorial evil clan must be exterminated. They've caused us so much pain and must be completely eradicated." Murmurs of this nature began to ripple through the crowd. As the Xuanling king's voice resonated, a fervent enthusiasm engulfed the altar. Observant experts noticed that beneath the curtain surrounded by the 9 members of the Dragon Devourer Legion lay the key highlight of the ceremony. Qin Tian, unveil the curtain. Given all the eager gazes, the Xuanling king did not hesitate and instructed Qin Tian at the rear. "All right," Qin Tian responded, allowing the power of life and death to surge in his palm as he approached the black curtain. With a light gesture, the concealed object beneath the curtain slowly came into view. As the black curtain was lifted, strands of black gas appeared before the crowd, writhing like silkworms and emitting a nauseating yet immensely potent evil aura. This is... As the curtain vanished, a series of enormous silver cages emerged within the spectator's gaze. Do not underestimate these dozens of silver cages. The extraterritorial evil clan's power contained within could likely corrode an entire nation. Inside the silver cages, horrifying scenes tugged at the heartstrings of every onlooker. Shadowy apparitions formed entirely from black gas revealed themselves, exuding an aura akin to the source of all evil, inciting loathing from the core. This is the Blood Demon Clan? Elder Zhua was taken aback by the sight, unable to hold back his words. The Blood Demon Clan had long been adversaries to the strong figures of Mystic Three Heavens. In the last grand battle, they nearly destroyed Mystic Three Heavens, if not for the intervention of mighty powers. I didn't expect it to be the Blood Demon Clan. Such vile creatures must be wiped out completely. Some experts couldn't contain their outrage, recollecting past pains inflicted by the Blood Demons. I recall the Blood Demon Clan being led by the Blood Demon Envoy, followed by the Blood Demon's left and right guardians, and then the 4 Blood Demon servants. Yet, only a right guardian is present here? Elder Zhua hesitated when noticing the numbers of the Blood Demon Clan members trapped in the cages. Despite their multitude, they lacked leadership figures. Heh, Elder Zhua speaks the truth. But, if I claim the Blood Demon Envoy and other powerful members were exterminated by me, would you believe it? The Xuanling king, anticipating Elder Zhua's attempt to disrupt proceedings, spoke smoothly. These past days, I've gathered the Xuanling royal army to deploy all forces against them. We ultimately annihilated them, yet it left traces of evil aura on our people. The Xuanling king elaborated. Nonsense. Shifu shook his head at the Xuanling king's words, clearly doubtful of their credibility. Could it be? I see. Some powers nodded knowingly, seeking protection in the increasing influence of the Xuanling king. Pathetic shadows. Even if we fall here today, the extraterritorial evil clan will return in greater numbers. Let's see how you handle it then. You won't be so lucky next time. Amidst the outer discussions, a formidable evil figure within the silver cages, possessing near half-step Do Xian might, couldn't resist voicing a threat. Heh, right guardian of the Blood Demon Clan, still so defiant? The Xuanling king, eyes filled with a chilling intent, retorted. Who's to say how this will end? Ha ha ha, laughed the Blood Demon right guard, his voice void of fear. Damn it, this guy is too arrogant. Xuanling king, take action. Erase these creatures completely. Some figures, infuriated by the audacity of the extraterritorial evil clan, couldn't help but shout. If there's anything to discuss, we'll do it later. Right now, the urgent task is to annihilate them first, said the Xuanling king, observing the sinister energy within the silver cage. All right, agreed Elder Zhu and others, realizing the importance of the matter without much hesitation. The extraterritorial evil clan is cunning by nature and extremely resilient. Only incredibly powerful forces and flame energy can completely obliterate them. Therefore, I'd like to ask Zhu Jian from the Incense Pavilion to take the lead. What do you think? The Xuanling king threw a teasing glance at Zhu Jian. No problem. Being called upon, Zhu Jin immediately moved into action, arriving at the altar in an instant. In that case, everyone, let's begin. With Zhu Jin not wasting any time, the Xuanling king commanded, "Take action. Gather the power of our entire mystic three heavens to completely eradicate these despised extraterritorial evil clan members." The powerful figures from other sects also took action simultaneously, unleashing a barrage of formidable power towards the remnants of the Blood Demon clan. Though the Blood Demon clan may be at its end, we are not so easily wiped out by mere ants like you. Blood Guards, the Blood Demon Right Guard intoned gravely. "Right Guard, sir," responded malevolent shadows within the silver cage. "Explode for me. Let these so-called righteous people understand that to kill us, they must pay a price," the Blood Demon Right Guard declared, as waves of intense evil energy surged from the silver cage. "Not good. They're going to self-destruct." Zhu Jin's expression darkened. Self-destruct? Hearing Zhu Jin's words, the other prepared experts paused, confused by his concern. The power of the extraterritorial evil clan is overwhelmingly evil. In a head-on fight of the same level, we humans might not stand a chance. Their self-destruction compares to ours, but their explosive power is far stronger. So, we must eliminate them before they can self-destruct, Zhu Jin explained. "Ha ha ha. Explode for me. Even if my Blood Demon clan fights to the last soldier, as long as we significantly reduce your number of human experts, we will surely be the victors when the great battle reignites," the Right Guard continued viciously. "Not good. Is the Blood Demon Right Guard also going to self-destruct?" The Xuanling king suddenly realized something. "Dragon Devourer Legion. Stop him for me," the Xuanling king shouted, as Qin Tian and others channeled their inner power towards the Right Guard. The malevolent energy draping the Right Guard's body slowly writhed as it broke free from the silver cage's hold. "Xuanling king, you are ambitious. But you've overlooked one thing. You dare to use my Blood Demon clan as chips in your game. You're the first. Blood Demon Array Diagram. Xuanling king, perish for me." Freed from the silver cage's constraint, the Right Guard frenziedly brandished a flag imbued with overwhelming evil power, launching it towards the Xuanling king. "Damn lunatic!" The Xuanling king bellowed furiously, keeping his guard up while holding his ground against the Right Guard. "What is this Xuanling king doing?" Some experts hesitated. "Everyone, let's first wipe out these extraterritorial evil clan remnants. As for the Blood Demon Right Guard, let's leave him to the Xuanling king," Zhu Jin urged, as he and the other Do Xian experts channeled their inner power to eradicate the evil clan remnants in the silver cage. Any blood guards attempting to self-destruct were rendered into dust under their attacks. Beneath the risen altar, Yingying began to regain consciousness. "Where am I?" Captured by the Xuanling king, Yingying had slipped into temporary unconsciousness due to the massive toll of using the spirit of the sacred flame a second time. "This is the Xuanling royal territory. We've been captured by the Xuanling king, and the situation is dire." A cold voice pierced Yingying's ears just as her eyes fluttered open. "Xuanling king?" Yingying shuddered, memories flooding back as she recalled past events. "Brother, don't make a sound. The power of the extraterritorial evil clan within this guy is too strong. He's been controlled. If not for the power of the sacred flame within him, he would have fallen long ago." Kai Lin spoke once more. "What does the Xuanling king want with us?" Yingying asked, a trace of confusion in her voice. "I read in an ancient book. The blood power from the 10-colored heaven, swallowing python, can significantly weaken the power of the sacred flame. I suspect that the Xuanling king is going to great lengths to use my power to consume you all," Kai Lin said, her voice still cold. "What?" At this, Yingying's expression finally turned serious. As beings of the sacred flame, they were born to constantly evade the hunts of humans and other strong beings. Only after reaching a certain level of power could they transform into human forms, but their identity as sacred flame could never be shaken off. It's a mixed blessing. But at this moment, Yingying slightly shook her head, showing no fear at all. Instead, a faint image of a man carrying a heavy ruler appeared in her mind. Every time she faced a crisis, as long as he was there, she felt an unusual calm and a strong sense of security. Why aren't you afraid at all? Kai Lin noticed Mu Yingying's calm demeanor and couldn't help but ask. He will come to save us, Mu Yingying replied, lifting her head slightly to gaze into the endless darkness ahead. Yes, he will. Kai Lin knew who Mu Yingying was referring to but did not ask further. I'm sorry. In the next instant, Mu Yingying lowered her head slightly and apologized to Kai Lin, with genuine sincerity in her voice. It's okay. Regardless of what decision he makes, I will support him, Kai Lin said, understanding the reason for the apology. Really? Mu Yingying was a bit taken aback, because deep down, she couldn't bear to let go of Xiaoyan. Yes, Kai Lin nodded. That's good. Upon hearing that, Mu Yingying felt warmth spread through her heart, as small schemes brewed in her mind. Let's focus on ourselves for now. Even I find the power of the Xuanling royal family overwhelming. Even if Xiaoyan comes, Kai Lin couldn't help but shake her head. I know, the Xuanling royal family is too strong. I don't want him to come. But I believe he will come, Mu Yingying said with a smile. He is fortunate to have a good wife like you. But I won't give up, Mu Yingying also smiled. Kai Lin seemed to have more to say but ultimately remained silent, knowing that her challenge was straightforward. However, things might not be so simple for sooner. Their conversation ended, and the place returned to silence once more. Damn! Such powerful energy fluctuations. The Xuanling king, while entangled with the blood demon Right Guardian, realized that this fellow's power could faintly threaten him. He was, after all, a perfect one-star Docian. If he got threatened by this guy, his dignity would be at stake. Everyone, join forces and annihilate this demon. As stronger individuals from the Blood Demon clan were killed one by these Docian experts, Elder Zhu spoke up. Though there was deep enmity with the Xuanling royal family, they had no choice but to temporarily join forces against the extraterritorial evil clan. Understood. Pill Demon Yi Qingtian, the 10,000 Sword Sect, and other super sects nodded slightly and charged at the Blood Demon Right Guardian. Damn it! Seeing himself besieged by 10 Docian, the Blood Demon Right Guardian knew he could not escape death today. A bunch of ants defending a beast in human clothing, bearing the name of humans, yet merely wolves in sheep's clothing. Die! As these words fell, the Blood Demon Right Guardian crushed a flag in his hand, releasing a vast surge of malevolent power. Join forces to slay him. This formation is too strong. If empowered by his strength, this place will be reduced to desolation in an instant, the Xuanling king remarked. All right, the other strong beings agreed, nodding as they unleashed their immense power as Docian, completely confining the Blood Demon Right Guardian. Don't kill him. His status in the extraterritorial evil clan isn't low. We might extract some valuable information from him. Elder Zhu had just spoken when the Xuanling king immediately erased him. Allow me. The next moment, the Xuanling king ignored Elder Zhu's words. A finely crafted sword shimmered in his hand, and with quick speed, he thrust it into the Blood Demon Right Guardian's body. Glug glug. With the Xuanling king's strike, the Blood Demon Right Guardian instantly turned into a puddle of foam, dissipating from this world. At that point, the entire Blood Demon clan was utterly annihilated. Xuanling king, what are you doing? The right guard of the Blood Demon clan had already lost all fighting power under their combined assault. Yet, the Xuanling king, so ruthless, chose to utterly obliterate him. Not to mention the valuable information they could have extracted, the Xuanling king clearly intended to oppose them. However, the right guard of the Blood Demon clan knew something about the cooperation between the Xuanling king and the Blood Demon envoy, so the Xuanling king would never let him live for both public and personal reasons. Today is the Demon Annihilation Ceremony. We must eradicate the Blood Demon clan completely. How can we leave any future threats? Do you think the Blood Demon clan would easily betray their extraterritorial evil clan? If we let them live, who knows if other evil clans might attack us again later? Can you bear that responsibility? The Xuanling king argued with conviction. Bastard! Elder Zhu's brow furrowed, a slight flicker of anger emerging. Hoo-hoo! Is the Blood Demon clan completely finished now? Dan Gue Yi Qingtian speculated beside him. Not only did Dan Gue Yi Qingtian have such suspicions, but other Do Xian experts also guessed the same. After all, to annihilate the extraterritorial evil clan, Do Xian experts were sufficient. Thus, the Xuanling King's demon annihilation ceremony likely wasn't just about exterminating the Blood Demon clan. Since the demon annihilation ceremony is over, it's time for us to leave, one of the super sect leaders remarked, seeing the Blood Demon clan utterly wiped out. Clearly, they sensed the Xuanling King's underlying plans, but chose not to voice them. Hee, gentlemen, don't be in such a hurry. There's another good show for you to enjoy. It would be a pity to leave now. The Xuanling King said with a slight smile, noticing the retreating intentions of the leaders from the ancient Desolation Palace and other major sects. The Xuanling King had meticulously prepared for this day. Therefore, he wouldn't let these experts leave so easily. Oh, a good show? Is it? The palace master of the ancient Desolation Palace listened, casting a meaningful glance toward Elder Zhu and his group. The next moment, just as the Xuanling King finished urging the experts to stay, he turned his gaze towards Elder Zhu and the others. The Blood Demon clan is entirely wiped out, but it's time we settle the grudges between our Xuanling royal family and your Incense Pavilion, as well as the Medusa clan. Your Incense Pavilion killed our royal disciples participating in the sect competition and even took the life of our crown prince. Before long, an invisible yet formidable power surged from the Xuanling King. Perfect one-star Do Xian? Impossible. Even Elder Zhu couldn't help but narrow his eyes at the sudden, overwhelming aura from the Xuanling King. Cultivation between Do Xians is notoriously difficult. Even a minor advancement takes significant time. To reach Do Xian from the pinnacle of Do Di is exceptional. Yet, the Xuanling King is not just an early or mid one-star Do Xian, but a genuine perfect one-star Do Xian. Those uninvolved, please step aside. This is personal between our Xuanling royal family and them. Interference will be punished collectively, the Xuanling King declared with a slight, sinister tone. Hoo, it seems the Incense Pavilion and their three allies are in trouble this time. The Xuanling King's perfect one-star Do Xian power, combined with Qin Tian's Do Xian strength and the Dragon Devourer Legion's numerous experts, leaves little hope for their alliance. Good thing we switched strategies just in time. Otherwise, the current situation would be irreversible, the Puppet Manor Master thought soberly. Humph. The Xuanling King, you're completely talking nonsense. Your Xuanling royal family colluded with the extraterritorial evil clan, and now you're using them as your bargaining chip. For a traitor like you to emerge from the royal family truly is misfortune. Moreover, during the sect competition, everyone saw the evil power your royal disciples wielded. What more can you say? Elder Zhu retorted fearlessly, showing no sign of panic. Ha. All lies. No matter what you argue today, all four of your sects will surely perish. The Xuanling King floated slightly in the air, a terrible and oppressive power gradually radiating outwards. Absurd. Do you not know how many misdeeds your royal family has committed in secret? Today marks our four sects' united action against your Xuanling royal family. At that, Shifu's snake-shaped staff struck the air heavily, releasing an inexpressible toxic force. Dragon Devourer Legion, capture Shifu and Elder Zhu. Leave the poison sect master to me. The Xuanling King commanded from midair, addressing the 9 Dragon Devourer Legion guards at the altar below. Understood. Qin Tian stepped forward, replying decisively. As for the master of the Myriad Flowers Pavilion, leave it to me. Beneath Qin Tian's pupils lay a subtle, obscure crimson, eerily similar to the spirit sphere on the Xuanling King's person. However, it was unclear if there was any connection between the two. Why does it seem like Qin Tian and the Dragon Devourer Legion have completely changed their nature? They weren't like this before. Elder Zhu watched Qin Tian calmly organize everyone, devoid of any emotion, along with the expressionless faces of the 6 from the Dragon Devourer Legion. Something felt off, yet he couldn't pinpoint it. Act now. Elder Zhu and his 3 companions exchanged glances before speaking. At this moment, the top forces of mystic three heavens were gathered here. Elder Zhu and his group knew that if they failed, the coalition of the four sects would be marching to their deaths. Without fully understanding the Xuanling royal clan's capabilities, they would not summon the coalition lightly, for summoning them would mean reaching a critical juncture of life and death. Should we make a move? Quietly standing aside, observing the tense standoff between the Xuanling royal clan and Elder Zhu's group, Pill Demon and a few individuals from the ancient Desolation Palace began conversing with their soul powers. We shouldn't have gone back on our word to join the 8-sect alliance with the Incense Pavilion. For now, we can only observe the situation. If it comes to a critical point, we must act. Although we can't openly oppose the Xuanling royal clan for our own sects, we did promise Elder Zhu and his group. If Elder Zhu and his group are defeated, given the Xuanling king's nature, he won't spare them. With their 4 sects gone, there will be very few sects in mystic three heavens that can stand against them. It won't be long before it's our turn, Pill Demon analyzed. If they win, fine. But if they are about to lose, we must intervene. Otherwise, the consequences will be, said the Wine Sword Immortal of the 10,000 Sword sect. Agreed. The powerful members of the super sects all nodded, then turned their gaze to the intense battle unfolding in the sky.